What's up, everybody? Today I am doing a ranking of R.L. Stine's 6 standalone novellas. And this is probably going to be the shortest ranking I've ever done because I don't have a whole lot to say about these books. These 6 books, which you will see in a minute, are novellas slash short stories that were released in the early 2000s. And they're just standalone titles, but some of them are rumored to have been part of other series. I think a couple of them are confirmed to have been part of other series. One of them is like a lost or a 26th Series 2000 book. And the others, I believe, or a couple of the others were rumored to be part of another triple header book. But yeah, they were just re-released as standalone books. And I'm just going to go through these real quick and rank them from least favorite to favorite. Again, I don't have a lot to say about these because I'll be honest, I didn't really feel too strongly about any of these books one way or the other. They were kind of okay. I enjoyed some things about some of them, but a lot of these just feel kind of derivative. They feel like they're stories that have been done numerous times before, so none of them really just captured my interest all that much, but I wouldn't say any of them were terrible either. So let's just jump right into it, starting with my least favorite one. And I think this one might be a bit of a surprise, kind of a hot take. I know my friend Austin over at Goosebumps Completionist really likes this one. So this one might be a little bit controversial, but this was my least favorite one. And this was one of the first ones that I read too. It might have been the first novella that I read. Or maybe it was the second one, I believe. I think it was the second one that I read. And then anyways, that is Zombie Town. Yes, this is my least favorite one. So now, again, none of these are terrible. I wouldn't say I hated any of them. Some of them, they're just kind of derivative, kind of dull, just kind of bland. And this one felt the most dull and bland to me. There's nothing about this that felt new or fresh to it. It's basically about these kids that go into this movie theater to watch some kind of zombie movie, I think. And then real zombies break into the movie theater and they have to escape. And they go out into the world and they discover that the zombie apocalypse has begun and there's zombies all over. And even though these are novellas, some of these are really short. And this one is, yeah, this is one of the shorter ones. It's like 60 pages. And it reads more like a short story than a novella. Like most of these are in short story format. But yeah, anyway, they go out into the world and discover it's overrun by zombies. And they go to their house. And there are, I guess, a few nice little like moments and scenes of body horror in regards to like the zombies and stuff. That's kind of cool. I guess that's probably the only thing I liked about this. But other than that, I didn't really care for it. It ends with a twist that R.L. Stine has done 100 times by now. Very predictable twist. I saw it coming from a mile away. And yeah, that's why Zombie Town is my least favorite. It was just kind of boring to me. It feels like something I've read before. So yeah, this was my least favorite of the novellas. Coming in at number 5, and I did not really like this one any more than Zombie Town, to be honest. These are kind of interchangeable for me. And that is 3 Faces of Me. So this one is basically about this kid that has clones created of himself. There's this camera, I think it was, and there's like a button on it that when he pushes it, every time he pushes it, it creates a clone of himself. And he ends up with like a few clones of himself. And he has to try to figure out how to get rid of these clones. And then at the end, we get a twist where he has to go to some kind of family get-together, his aunt's house or something, I don't remember. And he doesn't want to go, so the twist ending, spoiler alert, is he decides to push the camera button again after having gotten rid of these clones so he can create another clone to go and take his place after he just went through a whole bunch of trouble and realized, you know, how bad these clones are. So yeah, I don't know. This was just another one that was kind of dull to me. I didn't really get much enjoyment out of it. Again, this isn't anything that's terrible. I didn't hate it. It just is whatever. So yeah, that was number 5 for me. Moving on to number 4, we have The Creatures from Beyond. Now, I'll be fair and say that this one is probably the most unique and like far-reaching of the standalone novellas. This one has a few like interesting concepts to it. It's got some more unique ideas going on here. But for whatever reason, it just didn't really click with me. It didn't work. It just felt like there was too much going on, not enough coherency to it. The characters just felt really dry. And this is one of the longer ones too. So this one definitely has the room for it to have, I think, good characters and a more engaging plot. This one falls in at 120 pages, so it's almost the length of like a full-length Goosebumps book, basically. I mean, that is about what Goosebumps books are 120 pages. These books are a little bit smaller, though. They're just kind of like these small square books, so it might be a little bit shorter than a typical Goosebumps book. But anyway, for whatever reason, this one just did not really click with me all that well. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I guess there is a bit of fun to be had here, just for how wacky it is and how wild. There are some pretty crazy scenes in here. There's like, I don't even remember what this one's about, to be honest, because there's so much going on in it. There's like an alien invasion. There's these dolls that come to life. There's this villain that's like performing experiments on one of the main characters at the end that like kidnaps her and wants to perform experiments on her or something. So yeah, it was okay, I guess. I don't know. I give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. Maybe a 2.25. Slightly better than those previous two. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a lot to say about these books. It was just okay. If you're a mega R.L. Stine fan like me and you want to read everything eventually, I mean, obviously it's worth reading. But if you're more of a casual fan, I don't think this is required. It's not something I would go out of my way to recommend. So yeah, Creature from Beyond comes in at number 4 in my ranking. Okay, moving on to number 3. And again, this one isn't really all that much of a step up from the previous. It could probably be ranked about the same, like about it at a 2 out of 5 stars. And that is The 13th Warning. Now, I normally love this subgenre R.L. Stine dabbles in regards to like superstition and luck-based stories, things like that. I don't know why. It's just personal preference, I guess. I kind of like those books like Locker 13. What is it? The Tale of the Blue Monkey from Ghost of Fear Street. It Came From Beneath the Sink, one of my favorite Goosebumps books. I just love those stories. This one, though, again, this is one of the more of a short story ones. It's like 60 pages, so there's really not a whole lot of substance to it. It's just pretty brief. And this one is okay, I guess. It's more of a comedic one. It doesn't really take itself too seriously. It's basically about this kid who is the 13th child of 2 13th children, which means that he has 12 siblings, and both of his parents have 12 siblings. And yeah, this one is just kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I don't know what to say about it. It got me to laugh a couple times, I will admit, just because of how dumb it was and just kind of funny. It's just, this one's just real cheesy. And basically, these old people approach him one day, right before his 13th birthday, and they warn him that if he gets 13 13s before his 13th birthday, then it will unleash some kind of evil spirit or something like that. So throughout the day, he's having these different things happen. Like he gets a new jersey at school, and it has the number 13 on it. There's one. He like breaks a plate, and it shatters into 13 pieces or something like that. I don't remember. So all these different 13s start adding up, and if he's like worried if he's going to get 13 of them, what's going to happen? Is there going to be some kind of monster that comes for him? So yeah, I don't know. This one is just kind of goofy. Again, there's not a lot of substance to it. It's just a quick, dumb, fun read. It made me chuckle a couple of times. And yeah, it was okay, I guess. Another like 2 out of 5 star book for me. 13th Warning comes in at number 3. Definitely not one of my favorite luck-based or superstition-based R.L. Stine stories, though. That one's probably at the bottom. All right, moving on to number 2. And this one is a slight step up from these other ones. This one's like a 2.25, maybe a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And this is the last one that's a short story. This one's the shortest. It's only like 45 pages long. So number 2 is My Alien Parents. Now, some of you might be surprised that this one is as high as it is, for those of you that have read through these. And I will admit that this one is just as derivative and uninspired as like the Three Faces of Me, Zombie Town. This one really isn't all that unique, and I kind of predicted the twist in this one as well, and I was correct in my predictions. However, there was something about this one, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there was something about this one that just appealed to me a little bit more, and its charm and wit and humor. I enjoyed the characters' inner monologue in this one. The character just felt like, the protagonist felt like he had a little bit more life and personality to him. than these other like short story ones. And yeah, I can't remember exactly what the humor was that I found amusing, but I do vaguely remember kind of like just laughing a couple times. And this book, there was just something about it that kind of almost made me feel like a kid again. And I don't know what it was. I can't put my finger on it. But yeah, it's basically about this kid who discovers that or not discovers, I guess, but he suspects that his parents are aliens, that some kind of alien invaders have taken over their bodies. His parents are acting very strange. And he's like writing down in his journal and like trying to figure out like what to do, how to stop them. And there's also a bit of meta stuff in here, kind of, or like self-parody kind of stuff, I guess you could say, where the protagonist contemplates like going to the police and like calling 911, and then he thinks, oh no, I can't do that, nobody will believe me. And I found that kind of funny and entertaining, because there have been books before R.L. Stine has wrote where characters do that sort of thing, and of course nobody ever believes the characters. So I just thought it was kind of funny. It was like R.L. Stine is poking fun at the tropes that he uses himself in his books. And so yeah, I kind of appreciated this one a little bit more than the others. Again, it's not exactly original. It makes a lot of the same mistakes that these other ones do, but there was just something about it I enjoyed slightly more. So yeah, this one is like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. So yeah, My Alien Parents is my second favorite novella. And even though it's the shortest one, again, at like 45 pages. Okay, and my favorite novella. This one is, I think, the longest one. This was like 125 pages. So this is another like almost full-length book. And that is The Adventures of Shrink Man. This one was supposed to be Series 2000 book number 26, which was originally titled The Incredible Shrinking 5th Grader, I think, or 6th Grader. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, something like that. And I enjoyed this one the most because it had the most substance to it. Again, I wouldn't say I love this book. I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it. I can't really see myself rereading it. It's probably like a 2.5 out of 5 star book. But maybe a little over. Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I might do like a 2.75. But this one, it just had more substance to it. The parents play kind of a pivotal role in the story, which is surprising. Usually, parental figures in these types of books are either completely absent or just barely there to kind of fit the plot. And in this book, you get a little bit of emotional resonance with it, with the parents, like, concerned about their son. They see that he's starting to shrink down to like a miniature human, and they're trying to help him and like figure out what to do, instead of the kid just being on his own in this situation, this trouble that he's in. And so yeah, there was kind of some interesting stuff going on there with that. Of course, we do get the usual like threats of the character being small that we see in these types of stories. He ends up fighting like a giant grasshopper, as shown on the cover. There is one scene in here that's kind of ridiculous. There's like a couple of dogs fighting over him, and the kid is like shrunk down to like 3 inches high, and he's outside, and these dogs are like fighting over him. And I'm just wondering how he managed to survive, and how these dogs did not just rip this kid to shreds. And I'm pretty sure it described, from what I remember, of him being like in the jaws and in the teeth of these dogs. But somehow he escaped completely unscathed. I don't understand that one. He's like 3 inches tall, and these dogs are just chewing him up, and then he just manages to escape and run away. Okay. But yeah, anyway, I kind of enjoyed this one. It was definitely my favorite out of these. Again, I didn't quite love it or anything. And the twist to this one is something that's kind of easy to predict. It sort of goes in the opposite direction of him being small. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It was decent. 2.75 out of 5 stars. This was my favorite novella, The Adventures of Shrink Man, the Lost Series 2000, book number 26. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's my very brief ranking of R.L. Stine's 6 novellas. Let me know what your thoughts are if you've read these books down in the comments. Let me know what your favorite one is, what your least favorite one is. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, guys.